folks? Welcome to the blacksmith shop. I'm Lin Rhea from the Historic Arkansas Museum. As you probably read, we're going to experiment a little bit with hammers and hammer sizes. We're specifically talking about peening metal, and this would be metal that's in the annealed state. In other words, it's soft, but it's room temperature. So we've got some sample pieces cut and just sort of roughly annealed. We got some sample pieces that we're going to put in a vise, and we're going to peen the end of it as if we're making a head on it. We're going to try 3 different size hammers, and we're going to try to give an equal or fair opportunity for it to make a head. We've got a real tiny hammer. I think it's about an 8 ounce, and another one that's probably 12 ounce, and another one that's probably 16 ounce. So there's 3 different sizes, and what we want to show is the effect that the size of the hammer has on the outcome. So that means that we have to use the same stock. We're going to try to count. I'm going to say I'm going to start with a small one. If I can't get any results in say 20 hammer blows, and these are obviously light hammer blows with a small hammer, then I'll go longer. And now whatever that one requires to make a deformation in the head, then we'll use that same number for the next 2 hammers. And all we can do is just experiment and just see if it makes a difference, and we want to show that. Now these have been heated to a low red in our fire, and it's about 3/16 to a quarter in diameter. So we're using the same size stock. We're going to just see how it works. Let's go to the vise. I brought some hammers today that are progressively larger. Like I said, we'll start with a small one. And these are ball peens. These are just something that you would find in any shop, machine shop, or you may have one yourself. I just want to mainly just get a good grip on the piece. And this is like I say, this is a informal test. This is not anything that you can you just hang your hat on totally, but let's just try it. Okay, we can see we've got light, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't count close, but I think that's about 30 licks.
Correct.
We'll set that one aside. Put another one in. And our hacksaw man, I think he's going to need some practice and a sharper blade. But that's quite all right. In case he's cutting that. The next one is about a 12 ounce, and I don't have it written on the head, so I'm just guessing. They jump up in about those increments. So let's go 30 licks on this with this hammer. Okay. One, 2. I don't want to get them mixed up and be unfair about it, and our scientific approach that we're having here will be all messed up. Good steady grip on it. I'm going to the bigger hammer now. We'll go 30 licks on this, and I'm just using approximately the same effort, but the only difference is the hammer size and weight. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're going to let's go over to the anvil and look at it and see if we can get a good clear view. Okay, this one is the light hammer 30 hammer blows. So the difference is it didn't flare as much, and presumably the depth of the blow is less because of the light hammer. So it didn't go into the stock as deeply. The hammer blow didn't deform or change as deeply into the stock. And those who peen heads onto knife handles and make tools and regularly peen stock will understand what I'm talking about and will have experienced this, so it could bear on what you do. So let's look at the next one. Now my hammer blows may have gotten off a little bit, but it is bigger. It's noticeably bigger. Mm-hmm. And the deformation, I do believe that I can actually tell that it is deeper into the stock as well. It's more about like this. And I'll go back to this one and kind of, this one is a lot less. It's probably half as deep. And the head size is much smaller. And again, this one is back to here. And I'm looking at the profile of it so I can kind of see where the flare starts in the main piece. Okay, now we didn't change hammer sizes to any great extent. I mean, probably the beginning hammer was half as big as the biggest hammer. And then the one in the middle is somewhere between, of course. Okay, we've got a little bit bigger face on the head, and the depth of it is quite a bit more, quite a bit deeper. Now obviously we just picked a sort of random number of hammer blows. We didn't complete the head, and we didn't have a nice dome. We don't have any of that. We are just witnessing the effect of hammer size on a cylindrical shape of stock striking the end of it a certain amount of times. The hammer size is important. Depending on what you need, you can tailor the outcome by a lot of factors, and one of the factors is being the weight of the hammer. So this is what we wanted to demonstrate, and we wanted to show not just you, but to show ourselves that on a cold piece of steel that this works also. A hot piece is going to work even more drastically. There's lots of applications for this, and if you are a craftsman and you're peening pins, or you're working hot material like nail making or use of bolsters and making bolts, heads, and forming heads on things, this could be useful to you. It's good information just to have. So this is what we wanted to share with you. Now what we haven't done yet is to work any of it hot, and that's another level of material movement. And we do that all the time. Of course, you see me do a lot of it, but we wanted to specifically stay on the subject of the hammer size and how it affects the outcome. So anyway, that's what we wanted to do, and we're glad he was able to join us today in the blacksmith shop. If you have any questions about this or anything else that we're doing here in the shop, please write in the comments below, and we will have another hopefully interesting subject to talk about next week. We're glad that you were with us. Again, I'm Lin Rhea for the Historic Arkansas Museum.